What's up, boxtruck fam? Monday, May the 2nd here. New week, first of the month, so just trying to get by. Just want to say thank you to everybody that watched the video. 221 views, 11 subscribers. A lot of people reaching out via email, messages. I've been posting on some Facebook groups and just getting involved with the community, and it's been both eye-opening and also it's heartening to see so many people are jumping into box truck driving without knowing and without knowing the true costs and without knowing the potential expenses that come with it and how much you can make, to be honest. So I decided to make this real quick. um, it's not going to be a long video. I'm just going to show you some numbers that I came up with. If anybody thinks that these numbers are wrong, reach out and correct me because I don't want to spread misinformation. But from my experience and from what I've been reading and all the information that I've been consuming the past couple of weeks, I believe that these numbers seem to be pretty accurate. I think this is a yeah, decent numbers for a box truck dispatcher. Definitely see a lot of people on YouTube saying you're making 7K, 5K profit a week. I mean, I just simply don't believe it unless you're a machine and you're driving a lot or you're with a team. So there are so many variables that go into this that even though it could be possible, I just don't think it's sustainable. Um, you cannot be if you were making 5K in profit every week. I mean, imagine the number of box truck drivers that would be, um, right, working right now. And the truth is, there's still a shortage. Even though the market is competitive for box trucks, there's still a shortage. So, uh, let's go ahead and move on, and I'm going to show you some numbers. I did very detailed stuff, and of course, I did some assumptions. So if anybody got better info or more accurate info, just go ahead and reach out, and I'll correct it. This is just for all of us to learn. And if you like the information and the content, just go ahead and subscribe. Ask questions because you know that's what the content is going to be about. You asking me questions and me seeing how I'm going to answer those questions with utmost honesty. All right, so here we go. A little bit of a lot of numbers, making sure it looks right. Yeah, it looks right. So first things first, these are assumptions. Don't take these numbers literally. Every single number is variable. It will change. You are different. People's situations are different, and everything changes. Freight and logistics is the most volatile business. Other than stock markets that I've seen, there is so much change with seasonality, with produce season, with peak season. There is so many things that change that these earnings will change month after month. I think these are very conservative and decent earnings, and I think they're easily attainable. In all honesty, I don't think I don't see why not somebody could earn this. So first thing, I'm assuming the gas is 5 per gallon. Could be lower, could be higher. That's what I'm assuming. That's what I'm doing. Another assumption is that your truck is giving you 10 miles per gallon. Some give you more, some give you less, but that's what I'm basing this exercise here and the data off of it. Second, I'm assuming you have a truck payment of 1,200 per month. I need to correct this later. I'll fix it later. 1,200 per month. That's what I'm assuming, and I'm also assuming your insurance is 12,000 a year. So could be higher, could be lower. Changes the number a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna start. I'm gonna explain every single tab, and then we're moving to the numbers. So I got average cost for deadhead if a load is local or over the road, miles, deadhead, rate per mile. These are pretty, self-explanatory. This is the rate without deducting the deadhead. This is the rate after the deadhead. This is the fuel cost, which is, I'm assuming, $5 per gallon at um, 10 miles per gallon. Dispatch percentage, 8%. I've seen that across the board. Some people charge 10. They offer more services. I'm sticking to 8. Factoring 3%. That's what I've seen across the board. I did some totals without dispatching because if you self-dispatch, that's what you'll make. Total, if you pay a dispatcher, your truck payment, your insurance payment, and this is how much money you're making per load after all of those expensive. Um, this down here, we'll go into it later. So let's start with the first load. Let's say Monday morning you weren't proactive during the weekend. You woke up in the morning, or you had a doctor's appointment, or something. So you found a local run. Could be Amazon. It could be whatever. 350 miles. You scored that one for 2.1 a mile, which a very decent rate, I think. So rate without deductions, $735. No deadhead, so you're still making the $735. Um, and then your fuel cost for that came out to be $175. Your dispatcher that found you this load is making $58.80. The 8% off of that rate off of the load rate. So that's what I'm basing out of. I'm assuming your dispatcher is charging you 8% over the rate. Your factoring to pay this load is charging you 22 bucks, 3% of the rate again. So here's where it gets good. So if you dispatch yourself after fuel and after your factoring company, this is what you will be making on that load, $537.95. If you pay a dispatcher, then you'll be making $479. So I mean, it's a good chunk of money. For me to get to the net margin, and I have the all the formulas right here. So we're doing the net margin, and this net margin is with dispatch and factoring. So I'm using somebody that's using the numbers that I'm coming up with right here are numbers with dispatching, factoring, and fuel deduction, as well as truck payment and insurance. I did 6 days of work, 1 day of rest, so everybody can see this. So keep in mind, this number right here is going to be with dispatching fees and with factoring fees. So load number one, 350 miles, no deadhead. Your money after I did the truck payment per day and insurance per day per working day. So after you have your chunk out for your truck payment and your insurance, you made $387 and almost 50 cents on that load. That for a day of work, if it's 100, 350 miles and it's a local one, you're home at the end of the day. Um, well, you won't be home at the end of the day because if you come back, then it sucks. But you're out. You went to North Carolina, South Carolina from Atlanta. You made that, picked up in the morning, deliver at the end of the day, and then you move on. So let's move on to the next load. You're going a little bit further out. It's an over the road load, 850 miles. You got 100 miles of deadhead. So that's going to 10 gallons, right? Because we're doing 10 miles a gallon at 5, that's $50 that you got to deduct. You scored this one at exactly 2 per mile. It would have been 1700. That's the rate confirmation you'll get from a broker, 1700. And then after you take the 50 bucks that you spent on that head, this is pretty much when the what you'll get, 1650 after you pay yourself for the deadhead. And then we start taking the money out. So fuel for this load will be 425. Dispatcher is making a little bit more, 136. Your factoring charges you 51 bucks. Uh, if you dispatch yourself, you're making 1174 um, after fuel and this and factoring. And if you're using your dispatcher, you're making a little bit over $1,000. And then After truck payment and insurance, you are at $946 for the day. That's a good day. Almost $1,000 in a day. Um, and you keep in mind that I'm assuming you are driving the full 850 miles. Some people don't like to go over the 700, and some people abide themselves with the HOS, and some other people don't. So I'm assuming you can make the 850 in a day. It's about 14 hours of driving. If we're doing 60 miles per hour, that's 10, that's 600. Yeah, it's about 240 more. So it's 14 hours of driving. Next, um, we are going to the next load. So you made it there, you found a load local, like right there to pick up easy, and going another 700 miles somewhere else. 180 a mile, you take it, you don't want to get stuck. 1260, that's what you get from the broker. No deadhead, so you keep the 1260. $350 is your fuel. Uh, and then 8% to your dispatcher, they made $800. 37 for factoring. This is what you make if you dispatch yourself, a 72.20. Then you'll make 771 if you pay your dispatcher. And then 679 is what you make in that day. Not bad. Moving on. Now it's it's Thursday now. If you started on the Monday, um, let's say you pick up in the afternoon after these two loads push you over 650 miles. Deadhead is a little bit more, so your deadhead cost is 87.50 in fuel. They're paying you 175 per mile, and I'm taking this last load as a load that's going to get you closer to home over the weekend. So let's say you're up in like Kentucky, Ohio. If you're based in Atlanta and you starting, it's Thursday, you want to start getting back home that weekend, or you have something to do. So this is the rate that the broker gives you after your deadhead, and we go ahead and deduct all of this, and that load left you with 500 a day. Uh, then the next day, Friday, you made it home that night. Friday morning, maybe, and I don't know, Amazon Relay or whatever local load you get, very good rate. Broker was, desperate to sell it, and you get 270 a mile on this one. It's a 200-mile run. It's doable. 600 bucks, like 550, 560. So here's your rate. Broker sent you 540 for that load. Um, After deadhead, your fuel is 100 bucks for that load. Um, and then we keep going on the expenses. That day you made 248, and since it's a local run, let's say Amazon within 60 miles of your house, you're home that night, and then you find I'm saying another local on Saturday morning, or maybe that Friday night you run another local, so I'm counting it as a day, and you go through the motions again, leaves you with 167 that you made on that load. Um, so with that being said, this is what you would have made that week after all your expenses: fuel, dispatching, factoring, truck payment per working day, and insurance costs per working day. Um, that's 29.37. I think for that in a week, that's pretty good. If I'm making that in a week, um, that's of course before taxes. So I mean, you gotta keep that in mind, and other expenses that you might have to run your business. Um, I I might be missing some expenses for the day to day, but I mean that will be what you'll make that week. Um, and let's move on. Let's do other scenarios. Um, let's say you own You bought a straight truck and you hire a driver, so he's working for you because you do something else, and then you just got somebody driving. Um, so if we take the driver cost, I did 250 per day. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've seen people charge 25%. 25% actually comes out to less than the 1500. So on day one, you made 137. On day two, 696. On day three, 429. On day four, 258. And then you lost money on day five and six. You lost a buck on day five, and then you lost 82 bucks on day six, and you ended up making 1400 that week if you had a driver on that truck. Um, if you ask me, 1400 a week for you not doing anything, like if a dispatcher is dispatching that guy and all the expenses are being paid for. 1430. I mean, it's pretty good for somebody that's just he's assuming the risk of paying for that straight truck. I did not include hotel expenses here uh, because I don't know what kind of arrangements people have with their drivers, and if I don't know, it all depends. Some people might sleep in their truck one time and then get a hotel another, or maybe with this type of miles, you are okay with I don't know. It just depends on you. So I did not include that. That could very well take, if you're paying 100 a night on those hotels, that could very well, you know, take 600 for every single day is 100. But I'm saying like some days you're going to be home, so you don't need a hotel. But I'll take 600 out. You're still making 2300. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go ahead and put it here uh, with hotel. So it's 100 per day. So we're gonna do equals this number minus 600. So that'll be your rate with a hotel if you're paying a hotel of 100 per night. Maybe they're more expensive. I don't know. I think 100 is pretty good for, a local inn or something. Okay. So I am going to give you the net if you dispatch yourself right here. So if you cut the dispatch, which is your 8%, we're going to this net right here that you made per load increases significantly uh, to wait, there's a jet flying by. I'm sorry. Whoa. So here it is. So 446 on the first load if you're dispatching yourself. This is after the expenses. Remember, this was without dispatching, without these two expenses right here. This is after all expenses. So this is your net if you were dispatching yourself right here. So if you dispatch yourself, look, you went from 29.37 to 33.97. So hey, it pays off to learn a little more. I mean, that's a good what, almost 500 bucks extra. Yeah, 460. Yeah, 460 exactly. So um, it pays off. You're making up $460 by dispatching yourself extra a week. That could very well pay for 1600 here in Atlanta. That can pay for that can get you a one bedroom in Atlanta, one bedroom apartment. That if you learn how to dispatch yourself, you're paying for your apartment in a month, saving yourself 460 every week on dispatching expenses. And then we got net my situation, and I want to explain this here. Um, I actually, my stepdad decided that he wants to buy a box truck, and I had a guy reach out to me that he wants to drive. Actually, different people have reached out to me that they're looking for work driving, so we're gonna give it a try. My situation is um is actually pretty good. Blessed to 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 be in the situation that we are. That I work in logistics and I can dispatch the driver myself, so I'm saving myself that money. Um, but yeah, so this would be what I would be making. My stepdad is buying the truck, and we'll see how it goes. I have good energy and good, I'm optimistic about the situation. Uh, so this is pretty much what we would be making um, if we buy a truck and our payment is 1,200 per month and all of that, and I'm dispatching the truck. 1897 is what we'll be making every week. Um, and it could very well be, if my stepdad decides that he wants to buy the truck outright, you know, it, let's say a $30,000 truck, and he buys it, and that will my weekly will be up by 300, so we will be at 2197, almost 2200 on the week. Um, that's pretty good for a $30,000 investment. That if you put it in your bank or stocks or whatever, I don't know, the S&P 500, that gives you 9%, or maybe you get lucky and you get 10%. So that's 3,000 a year that you're making on your money sitting in the bank, and you're making almost 2 grand in 1 week off of that investment. I think that's excellent. And you could very well in a month have 8,000, and in 5 months, if you don't need the money, you could have $40,000 if everything goes right and no breakdowns and none of that, and you can buy another truck and just rinse and repeat. Uh, so we've been thinking about buying a truck for a while. Ever since I've been in logistics, it's been 8 years now, and I think it's the time to do it, just because of the knowledge that I have and the tools that I possess now, and how I can negotiate, and I know how things work. Um, Work is blowing up right now. But yeah, this is what I wanted to show you guys. I think these numbers are pretty decent. Some people will tell you they make 7, 8 grand a week. I don't think that's doable. I just think if you're driving more than, I don't think anybody can drive more than 14 hours a day unless you're taking drugs that or energy drinks and going crazy to drive more than that. I don't think it's good for your health, heart attacks and whatnot, and you'll burn out. I mean, you know, you'll burn out. I don't want you burning out. Just work smarter. You don't have to be a slave to that drug. You can work smart and make a decent living. I mean, right now my checks are $2,400 after taxes as a broker. 2,400 every 2 weeks after tax. Of course, health insurance and all of that. But I can make that in a week. If I didn't have pets and all the other stuff that I got going on at home, Jesus, I'll take it any day. Uh, but of course, a lot of things go into it. But I mean, thank you if you watch this. Be smart. I'm gonna continue making videos and give you guys tips. I just decided to do this because I saw a lot of people posting on Facebook and all of these groups that I joined that just literally have no clue, and they're asking how much can I make, and then you got 1,600 dispatchers just posting their little business card or whatnot. Oh, I'll make you 5K. Oh no, my driver makes 10K a week. Absolutely, I don't think it's possible. So realistic, close to 3 grand in profit, I think is good. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And if any of these numbers look extremely wrong to you, hey, reach out to me so I can correct, because I don't want to spread misinformation. I did a lot of research and I was very careful with all the formulas and everything. So I think we should be good. Uh, See you next time.